Hey, Ostermer, welcome. Well, it's been fun so far on the run. Couple of bugs that I really didn't like, including on Thursday, but we'll see how things keep going. Today ought to be a fun day. It might be a frustrating day. I'm not gonna lie. But we'll see how an encounter goes and decide whether it's frustrating or not. Yeah, I know y'all do. I know y'all do. Feel like I'm Russell Crowe in The Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Which they're making a sequel to, by the way. In case you're not aware. Hey David, welcome. Lord Henry, welcome back. Yeah, the Forge is a fun place to go. It really is. Well, yeah, and thanks for the thought, David. We're kind of waiting to see. I knew anybody who's lived here, where I live, you know, knows to deal with hurricanes, and we know how they work, and we know that every hurricane that comes in through the South Gulf always turns north. It just always does. They make big right-hand turns just because of the way the weather systems work here. So anybody who lived here for a while knew this was coming. Thankfully, it lost almost all of its strength when it crossed the Yucatan Peninsula. The Yucatan is a big blocker for these storms that come across the south side of the Gulf. When the problem is when hurricanes come through the center of the Gulf, when they go across Jamaica and the other Caribbean islands, those don't slow the hurricanes down very much. But the Yucatan's a large landmass, and it really sucked all the strength out of it. So by the time it makes landfall, which is expected to be somewhere about Corpus Christi or so, about halfway in between Brownsville and Houston, it should only be a Category 1 storm. And that means we're at 60-mile-an-hour winds. We are on the dirty side of the hurricane, so we're going to get a lot more rain than normal, but we're just kind of waiting to see how much it decides to turn before it gets to us. Not expecting a full-on hurricane. By the time it actually, the majority of it hits us, it's probably just going to be down to a tropical storm. Now those are nothing to sneer at because we just had one of those 5 weeks ago. that really did a lot of damage around here. So, but yeah, I think we're prepared for it. I don't think it's going to be a massive deal, but everyone's seen this coming. So those who want to be prepared are certainly prepared. So if you're not prepared by this point, then you are willfully ignoring it, and that's nothing that anybody's going to be able to do anything about, and it's nothing that you can complain about if something happens. So, but I think we're going to be okay. This certainly shouldn't be something I don't think that we're really going to be caught unawares by. So, but thanks for the thought. We'll kind of see how it goes as we get more into tomorrow and Monday. So I've got a few more preparations to do today after we're done here, and yeah, after that should be good. Oh, that's kind of funny. I've got a couple of friends over here in where I live who are going to be with me with the live stream today, here personally, and one of them just asked what the dirty side of the hurricane was. I figured out if I'm going to explain it to them, I might as well explain it to y'all. For those of you who aren't familiar with hurricanes, like we are here, storms in the northern hemisphere rotate counterclockwise. So the Atlantic storms always move from east to west. So just like, think of like the wake on a boat. Up in front of the boat, it's smooth water, but out behind the boat, it's messy water. And that's the same thing with the air in a hurricane. As it rotates counterclockwise and it moves from east to west, the front side of that hurricane is a lot smaller than the backside. And the storms here tend to move actually southeast to northwest for the most part. So the hurricane is on the north side of the hurricane is trying to push air toward the front of the hurricane, but it can't because the hurricane's moving out in front of it. So it tends to push a lot of air and moisture and rain over to the right side or the northeast side of a hurricane, and it tends to get bunched up there because, like I say, the storm is rotating and trying to push air there, but the hurricane's moving out in front of it, and it never really gets there. So out in front of the hurricane is clean. On the west side of the hurricane is normally clean, but the northeast side is where all of the air gets bunched up. The southwest side is the exact opposite. The air is pushing the moisture and stuff toward the back of the hurricane, and then the hurricane's moving forward and it just leaves it behind. So the dirty side is where all of that stuff kind of bunches up, and that's where you get a lot of rain, a lot of potentially damaging winds, and that sort of stuff. So when people say the dirty side, that's normally for Atlantic hurricanes in the northern hemisphere. That is the northeast side, basically, of the hurricane. But whatever direction it's traveling, the right side of it. Since most of them travel from southeast to northwest, that means the northeast side is going to be the dirty side here. So that's what's going to happen with us as it makes landfall. We're gonna hit the dirty side of it as it starts to continue to turn straight north. Then that dirty side is just going to continue to move up with us. So it's a pretty fast moving storm though. So we don't expect it to linger, which is when flooding happens, is when all of that bunched up air and rain just continues to sit over a specific area. So it's pretty fast moving, so we don't expect it to linger. However, we're going to be in the dirty side for a while because it's kind of turning right around us, with us as the center point of the turn. So that means the dirty side's always going to be sitting there. So we're kind of waiting to see. There have been vastly varying predictions on how much rain we're going to get, from 2 inches to 6 inches. And we just don't really know yet. So that's the only thing that I think we're more worried about. The winds, yeah, I mean, they're going to be strong, but they are what they are. But it's more the rainfall and whether or not it sticks. So some models say it will, most models say it won't. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. So yeah, you got a little explanation there, chat, while I was explaining it to my friends here. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode number 16 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. And we don't think there's anything on admin notes other than I do have friends over today, so I've instructed them to keep it down. But if there are untoward noises or things that happen in the background, I'll try and keep them to a minimum. So on our recap is from Thursday. You guys got an unexpected bonus live stream this week due to the Independence Day holiday here in the United States. And in that live stream, we worked our way through the Dwergar encampment. And we finished up by having our encounter with Nere and clearing out all of the other Dwergar in the encampment. And I said that at the end of that live stream I was going to go through and I was going to loot everything in the Dwergar encampment, and I did, with the exception of one area, and that's because I want to show that here on stream with you. But yeah, I looted everything, took it all back, sold it all off, and came back to right where we were. And we're going to jump right back in here and pick up where we left off and kind of explain one quick thing before we head out. Okay, so here we are. If you remember, we had gotten our level up to level 6, and I had talked briefly about that. And our inventory has now been cleaned out. So we do have some javelins on Karlach, and we're going to keep those on her, just again, to be able to start her off by throwing something that won't return, to get her into combat, because we don't want her to throw the returning pike and have her not win initiative and have it just continually lost. So that's why she's carrying some javelins that she has. I picked up I found a lone dagger laying on the ground that I missed for the rest of it. So for the most part here, we are finished up here with our inventory management, and you can see that we have 5,700 gold, basically. I've been keeping track, and out of that 5,700 gold, 1,642 of it is trash. And by trash, I mean all of the random things that you can pick up. Rotten food, dishes, skulls, extra candles, all of that sort of stuff. Not the items that you can get from killing enemies, so not armor and weapons. Everything that is not an armor or weapon, basically. So that includes all of your clothing, rags, all of that sort of stuff that we've picked up has accounted for 1/4 of the gold that we have. So on honor mode, where prices are so much more expensive than in your regular mode, gold becomes a very valuable resource when you get into Act 2, because there are so many vendors in Act 2. But then also Act 3, because there are even more vendors in Act 3. Gold is a precious resource, and searching everything and just taking that split second to click take all really benefits you in the long run. So don't underestimate the value of trash and having trash bags that you can load up and send back to camp to sell at a vendor later on. Okay, it is well worth it in honor mode to do it. So now we've got our level up, and I've been thinking about this for a little bit here, and we're actually not going to do much in the way of respecs here. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, I'm going to get some significant power boosts here, continuing the level ups that we have. Level 6 is kind of that in-between level, but it's really good for certain classes. Level 5 is big for your martial classes because you get extra attack. Bards at College of Swords do not get extra attack until level 6. So this is going to be a big power boost for my Bard to go to level 6. The other classes, level 6 means that you can take level 4 in one class and get a feat, and then have 2 levels in another class. 2 levels is not normally enough to get you your subclass. or a major benefit out of the other one. Paladin is an exception, obviously. You get Divine Smites at level 2. But level 7 is where your multi-classing really comes online, because at that point you can get a feat and you can get a subclass out of both of your multi-classes. So Astarion isn't going to be able to progress to his monk classes or his monk subclasses until he gets to level 3, but to get to level 3 I would have to drop to level 3 rogue, and that would mean I wouldn't have a feat, and that means that I would have to be removing Tavern Brawler, which is a main source of my damage and my ability to hit. So that's why I don't think I'm going to do a respec right now. I'm just going to do a level up through the rest of this. I am going to do one respec probably next week when we get back to the overworld to deal with something out there, but that's going to be a very specific situation. So I don't think I'm going to spend time on my respecs. I think I'm just going to go through a level up here. And here's what I meant about the Bard. You gain extra attack at level 6 with the College of Swords Bard. So this is a big combat improvement for my Bard. It gets me Counter Charm, which is really, really nice and is going to be really, really useful coming up for an encounter, again, probably next week. We may be able to get partway to it this week. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But Counter Charm is going to be very, very useful. Being able to spend an action and not a spell slot to give advantage against being charmed or frightened on those saving throws can be really, really helpful. So but it's not something that I would give this up to start multi-classing in a different way. And that different way would really be to do the combination of... Well, actually, am I going to give away what I want my Bard build to be? I guess I probably can. My goal here for my Bard is going to be a little different this playthrough than what I have been doing in my previous playthroughs. So I have a plan for what I want this Bard to be. It's still going to be College of Swords. However, previously I had focused on Warlock as a subclass dip. I am still going to do that, but I'm going to dip my Bard into Paladin. I want to make a Bardadin here that also has the benefits of being able to fight in darkness. So that's what the ultimate build is going to be. It's going to take a while for that to come online, though. And that is kind of going to be the thing about this, is that I would love to get aspects of that in level 2, in Act 2, because there's so much that is vulnerable to radiant damage. So we're going to look at that once we get past the Githyanki Kresh, and we've figured out everything in Act 1, and we are fully ready to move into Act 2. But that's kind of the goal for it. So for now, at level 6, this is getting me a bump, and a useful bump for what we're going to have coming up later on. For my spell selection here, there are options that I can use, and Calm Emotions is great in that you cannot become charmed or frightened. However, it also means that you can't become enraged. and that means I might be limited on where I could cast it. I don't want I don't want Karlach to prevent her frenzy ability. So having counter charm really helps. It doesn't prevent frighten and charm entirely, but it gives you advantage on that saving throw, which is kind of the next best thing. So for the rest of this, it doesn't really matter at this point as much. For this encounter, there's not going to be nearly as much that I'm going to need to deal with. So I'm just going to pick Plant Growth. It's very useful overall as an AoE denial spell. It doesn't need concentration, so you can throw it out there and continue doing whatever you want. So for now, that's what I'm going to pick here. So for Barbarian at level 6, I get Mindless Rage. And here's what I was mentioning a little bit ago. In that Calm Emotions no longer ends your rage at level 6 for a Barbarian. Now Karlach is going to be multi-classed. So for now, Calm Emotions isn't going to do anything to her. But later on, depending upon how I work that level up process, there may be a point where Calm Emotion would end her rage, and that would be a problem for us. But for right now, it will not. Okay, so here at level 6 for Astarion, and Lord Henry says, wouldn't it be better for Astarion being level 5 monk and 1 level in rogue? If you'll remember, the reason that we took rogue was, well, there were two reasons that we took rogue. The first is because of the skill benefits, and that's why we start with rogue, so that we have access to the expertises that go along with disarming and sleight of hand, and that's, or for his sleight of hand checks for lock picking and disarming, because he's going to be the main person to do that, in addition to being a damage dealing monk. The second reason we took it was because at level 3 we got the Thief subclass, which gives us 2 bonus actions in a round. Now, early on in the game, where you are very limited on key points, having the additional bonus action to throw out more flurry of blows, it lasts 1 round. In this case, we're going to gain an additional key point here, so we're going to be at 3 key points, so a round and a half worth of flurry of blows. And that's it. It becomes a lot more powerful later on when you have a lot of levels in monk, and then you can dip those 3 levels into rogue to get thief. The normal progression for this is 1 level in rogue, then you continue leveling up your monk until you get to a certain point, and a lot of times that's at level 5 or level 6 monk. And then you dip 2 more levels into rogue to get thief, and then the rest of it monk. So Lord Henry is talking about the standard progression that we would go through for a monk rogue build. I'm doing it a little different here because there's something else. That thief subclass is very, very useful early on, because of our ranged abilities. We are always using elixirs of hill giant strength. We have the Titan string bow, so our sneak attack and our Titan string bow combined gives us huge damage. It gives us outweighed damage. We are over leveled damage for the level that we're at. And having 2 bonus actions to be able to, 1, dash away from an enemy, and 2, hide, all in the same turn, or to hide then make a sneak attack, and then go into hiding again afterward can be incredibly useful. And you're going to see that kind of play out today as we go through the Grymforge. I think having the Thief right now is more beneficial to my honor mode gameplay than having the Monk abilities right now. And like I said, you're going to see some of that play out here today in how I use it. The thing that level 2 Monk also gets me is another 3 meters of movement speed, which is huge. It's massive. I have Crusher's Ring, which is adding 3 meters of movement speed. I have the Haste Helm, which is giving me 3 meters of movement speed for 3 rounds at the start of every combat. I have this unarmored movement speed, another 3 meters. This is basically doubled my movement from 9 meters to 18 meters in a round. I have 2 bonus actions. I can use both of them for dash. So I can extend that movement speed a stupid amount. Astarion is my fail-safe for this honor mode run. If things go wrong, horribly wrong, I can use Astarion to hopefully dash and or disengage, because I have 2 bonus actions, so I could disengage with one and dash with the other one and get out of combat, get more than 30 meters away from the enemies, and then flee from combat and head back to camp. So a lot of the cheese ways of doing it would be to leave one of your party members back at camp all the time so that you can never party wipe. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be relying on Astarion as my fallback for a lot of those things. And having that additional movement speed that he has means he can do that in 1 turn. So unarmored movement is huge. You also gain some monk actions here, and these are very similar to the rogue actions of the same type with dash and disengage. Both of these take a bonus action. They also use a key point, so using just a bonus action on the rogue side is better than these. I won't use any of these throughout my playthrough. Patient defense, however, is incredibly useful. Attack rolls against you have disadvantage, and you have advantage on dexterity saving throws. So you're able to avoid AoE spell damage, and attack rolls have disadvantage. Now there's another bonus that goes along with our Kashigo counter, which is the passive feature on the robes of uninhibited Kashigo. While patient defense is active, if somebody makes an attack against me, it's at disadvantage here. If they make an attack and they miss, I can use my reaction to make a full power unarmed strike against that attacker. So another really nice bonus to this, and it really comes into play now here at level 2 of Monk. So when you're stuck in the fray, you can now use a key point to activate patient defense, and whoever the first one that misses you, you can now strike out against them as a response. So very, very useful as well. Last is level 6 for Shadowheart. Now level 6 for Shadowheart is going to get Thunderbolt Strike. Now Thunderbolt Strike is useful and not useful. It's very nice in that if you're dealing lightning or thunder damage, you can also push it away from you. So it's like repelling blast in that regard and that sort of stuff. However, it is just like repelling blast, and that if you forget to, but the difference is that Thunderbolt Strike doesn't warn you beforehand. It doesn't show the enemies being pushed away, like it does for Mobile Flourish or Eldritch Blast, Repelling Blast. It just does it. So you tend to forget about it, that it's there, and that there are times when you don't want to push enemies away, and you tend to forget about it, like I did in the Paladin livestream in the basement of Moonrise Towers, when I knocked the Warden off of the bridge into the chasm and missed out on her loot because of Thunderbolt Strike. So it's just something to be aware of when you're going into it. Now, for her spell preparations here, there are some things that not this week as much, but next week are going to be very useful. So today, not really a whole lot that we need, other than we need to have Sanctuary equipped. That is a must-have for what we're going to do today. So for here, I think I'm just going to take Mass Healing Word. Create or Destroy Water is also possibly going to be useful here. We'll see how frustrating a certain encounter that it gets. So now we're leveled up. We're completely out of bonus actions here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get some exploration done up here. There's no combat that we're going to really be that worried about. So we still have enough action economy to go through at least a couple of minor combats, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna head out again here today.
Never wanted the easy path.
And make our way into the back of the Grymforge area. Then we're gonna take a long rest after we get some of this out of the way. So you can see some of the stuff I did not loot. I didn't come back here to this area and to this area on our map because I want to explore this a little bit. So here, I want to put on the Warped Headband of Intellect. Well, actually, before I do that, now we'll put on the Warped Headband of Intellect and put the Ring of Protection back on. We're going to have Shadowheart cast Guidance.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
And we're going to go up here to, and I can never remember which one it is. It's this one.
As you look at the skeletons, you realize they are all clad in the same dark armor.
Dark Justicia uniforms. These were Shah worshippers. The same as me.
Your wicked heart won't mourn. Deaths are to be celebrated, every one.
That is a Dark Urge specific dialogue option. You get a few of those throughout the game.
Whatever killed a bunch of Sharrans might still be down here. Just saying.
Okay, so with Shadowheart in the party, you do not have to pass any checks or anything. This one here, when you loot it, you're going to get a history check, which is intelligence based, to identify the uniforms and that sort of stuff. With Shadowheart in the party, and that's why she's here while we're going through this, you don't need to make any of those checks. She is obviously a Shar worshipper, so she knows what all of this stuff is. The cauldrons you don't pick up just because they're way too heavy. Their gold to weight ratio is unacceptable. There's always a lot of crafting ingredients in this area back here. Don't forget to pick them up. Bucket of water we'll pick up. The wooden tub is again too heavy. Now, just in case,
I'm ready.
'cause I haven't done this in a while, just in case I'm going to
Things have stayed
recast
interesting.
guidance while I do the searching back here.
Something good here, I hope.
See, just that extra split second to click take all is very beneficial. It's a quarter of our gold. Just clicking take all. Not even looking at it. Just picking it up. Okay, so we're gonna have Astarion. I don't think this is a big check. Where are my gloves? Here.
For a skeleton key.
Oh, geez, there's our nat 1. Nat 1s were so bad last night in my personal playthrough. So bad.
I've got a long road ahead.
What's next?
No one back home will ever believe this.
And here you've got a special crossbow.
I know this design. Shar's faithful wield crossbows like these.
And there was the history check. So that crossbow +1 turned into a Sharran crossbow.
Wits and blades, always sharp.
She's got the hunting short bow right now. For Hunter's Mark, but the Sharran crossbow. So now she should have a full set of Dark Justiciar stuff. So you have the Dark Justiciar helm. So you get +1 saving throws when you're obscured, which is certainly not bad. You're obscured quite a bit. And Constitution saving throws +1. The Dark Justiciar mail, so when you're obscured, you deal 1d4 necrotic damage to anybody that hits you with a melee attack. You also have the Dark Justiciar mask, which gives you straight up intimidation +1. This is going to again be very useful next week. When we go into a certain encounter with somebody where we need to pass either an intimidation or a deception check, this is very, very useful for us.
I have such a headache.
Let's march!
Okay, continue working our way over here. Nice chunk of gold.
While I'm at it,
And then we get this area down here.
Don't touch me.
So we're going to...
Subtle steps.
move down the rock. There's a chasm creeper we can pick up. And we failed the perception check.
There's no time to
Nice.
waste. This way.
Okay.
Best avoid that trap.
So there we find out that the chest is trapped. And for Astarion, when you deal with this, you want to make sure you're on the back side of this. If you fail the disarm and you don't want to use any of your inspirations, if you're standing over on any of these other three sides, the explosion can knock you off into the chasms. So make sure you're on the back side of this chest when you try the disarm, because it is an elevated DC.
Easy.
And here you have the real Sparky Sparks wall. So this is part of the lightning charge set. And it gives you lightning aura. So once per long rest, you can consume 3 lightning charges and release a blast of electricity that damages and jolts nearby enemies. And it lasts for 3 turns. Now, the thing about it is you're causing lightning damage when you do it. So if you are able to continually get lightning charges based upon dealing lightning damage, then it can be incredibly useful. And especially if you're combining this with the wet condition where you're standing in water and you're gaining lightning charges at the start of every turn by standing on it, and you're gaining more of them by doing spell damage with the spell sparkler. You can basically just stand in water for 3 turns and just continually do lightning aura blasts every time that you're doing it. So again, I'm not going to be focused on a lightning build or a lightning charge build for anybody in this playthrough, I don't think. But it can be useful for those party members who are based around lightning charges. And early on in the game like this, you might be, because there's not a lot of status effect builds that you're going for this early on in the game. Even if you are, you just don't have all the gear. This is the only set where you're going to have access to all of the gear in Act 1.
One step at a time.
I'll take this way.
Can't give up now.
Hey, Star, welcome. Well, we certainly hope that he's going to eventually. His build takes a bit to come online, but once it does come online, it is pretty nice. So I honestly can't remember if I've searched any of this or not. Doesn't look like I have. Nice potions there.
Hello. Hang on. That's adamantine speckled in there.
Okay, and now we're going to continue making our way in
Interesting
here.
times.
And I don't know if I picked one of these up or not already. I honestly can't remember. So before we pick it up,
How many
we
die
still have the
today?
warped headband of intellect
How many die
on.
tomorrow? Dream in red. What's hiding here?
There's a devil foil mask here.
Belongs to Amerigon, if I recall correctly. Hell's foot soldiers. I don't fancy meeting the commander.
Okay, so you're going to get an Arcana check,
This
which
belonged
again
to
is
American.
intelligence based,
One of Hell's foot
when you
soldiers.
pick that up. You don't have to pass any of these, by the way. I'm just adding flavor to the gameplay. So I'm going to try and pass as many of them as I can while you guys see them. You can search these skeletons up here. So again, more trash, but this trash that I'm picking up is probably 150 gold. So I am not going to ignore it.
Well, well, well.
Now I'm going to switch over to Astarion
Watch
here.
your back. Let's be quick. Be careful.
And again, you do not
There are
have
traps
to
about.
find these. Well, there's the nat 20 to balance out the nat 1 that we had.
Be careful. There are traps about.
And again, position yourself around these so that you don't get knocked off of this if you do fail a disarm. And you don't have to disarm them because we're not going to jump across this way. If you do jump across, and you can make it with your high strength characters, there are more blast mines right over here. You'll land, this one will go off, into the chasm you go. So don't jump across there. There's also an orb of dark vision here,
Oh, that's
which
a
for
familiar
10 turns
feeling.
gives you the dark vision
Darkness
condition.
and
I don't need it on anybody. Everybody is... Actually, that's not
What
true.
a charmer.
Yeah, Karlach has it as well. Gale is the one who really doesn't have it for the most part, but Gale has a ring of dark vision that allows him to overcome that. So before Astarion goes in here, we're going to move these onto him. No.
a trap. Someone doesn't like visitors.
Not a good start, Astarion. He could only fail it. Oh,
There is work to do.
not a good start.
Have to keep pushing.
Oh. You're killing me,
Plaid?
Smalls.
No, never mind.
I'm ready. Whatever it takes.
No time to rest.
My friends just asked me that. If you don't know, that's a reference from the movie Sandlot from years ago. So go check it out. It's a fun movie. None of these are particularly hard, so I can only fail them with double nat ones. Now that we've seen one, going through all 8 of the benefits I have, I'm going to be skipping these for the rest of this.
How considerate.
Because we have a 0.25% chance of failing these, of failing the disarms.
Traps.
The perception checks are a different story. We have about a 30% chance of failing the perception check. Oh! Oh. It would not be an honor mode playthrough without that. It would not be an honor mode playthrough on Saturday without that happening. I love my life. I'm actually not going to use an inspiration for this. I'm just going to have to remember to jump over it.
There are traps about.
So
Be careful. There are traps about.
horrible, horrible, horrible. Oh, it dropped me, and I forgot about this. The gargoyles. I forgot about the gargoyles.
Making me
So I should have used my
Let's get going.
inspiration there, because I forgot about this.
What's next, I wonder?
Yeah, so you very rarely get to see this. So I will illustrate it for you.
Careful, I might.
My faith will guide me.
Still in control. Just.
Okay, so that is how they work. We get flames coming out of these, which you're going to be continuously resetting now. Whoops. Karlach, where are you going?
Phew.
Karlach. Jeez. Now I should have used my inspiration, because now it's just going to get frustrating for me. And that was a misclick, because I was still on Karlach instead of Astarion. So now it's going to be frustrating to me, and I'm going to get angry with myself for not doing it. Okay, so this skeleton is going to have an iron key.
Oh dear. Someone's left a trap out for us.
We're going to see the use for the iron key a little bit later. Gonna have to wait for the gargoyles.
Over here.
Okay, we'll come back here, we'll do the same thing. Going to get down here around the corner. So now I'm going to take Astarion back and I'm going to loot all of this. The one down there at the far end, I'm going to wait on. There's a reason for that. So for now, we'll hold off on dealing with this one until a little bit later. So for now, we're going to group everybody up here, head down the ladder. And now we come to one of the most dangerous spots in an honor mode playthrough. Moving platforms. Okay, now this is dangerous. A lot of times the game has problems with the collision models of your characters and moving floors. And you can get bugged out and end up so that you can't move after you have after the platform has stopped moving. We saw this at the end of Act 2 in the Merkel fight in one of our playthroughs. The solution is to save and then reload your game, and it'll reset. Honor mode, it doesn't work that way. So if you get stuck on a platform, you are stuck and you are done. There is a way around it. I'm just not going to use it unless I actually encounter that problem.
Don't be shy.
But it, like I say, it's a way to end your runs in spectacular fashion. just because of something incredibly stupid that's in the game. So always drop a save and overwrite your previous save before you jump on a moving platform. Always, every time, no discussion.
What a day. Yes, please.
And I guess, yeah, my friends will let me know that doesn't really make sense. Why does that matter in an honor mode run? I wasn't going to explain it, but I will. In an honor mode run, there is a way to reload a previous save. Normally, when you exit the game, when you go to the main menu, the game saves and it overwrites your game, so you can't go backwards. There is a way to do it. Alt F4 does not do it, by the way. That is closing the game. The game treats it, that's an orderly shutdown of the game. And the game gets time to do an automatic save. If you open up your task manager and you find the BG3 executable in your process list and you quit it from there, the game will actually pop up in the corner and say that it's saving, but it won't have time to actually do that. That quits the process, and that's just a rendering issue. The game can't physically do it. So the game will shut down, the crash reporter for Larian will pop up, you can just exit out of that, and you can reload the game and click load, and it will be right back at where you had dropped your previous save. So there is a way to cheese honor mode. I'm not going to be doing it. However, if I get on a platform like that and I get stuck, I am absolutely going to do it. I'm not going to lose my honor mode run to a collision bug in the game. That's not going to happen. If there's some other irretrievable bug that happens in the game that wants to end my honor mode run, I will use it, but it's not something that I use to save scum, basically, in honor mode. I'm not going to do it. But that's how you would... There is a way to technically do it in the game.
Step lightly.
And here are the two blast mines that I mentioned previously. And again, line yourself up with them so that if you do fail a disarm, you don't get knocked off. Okay, now for here, I think this needs to be on Astarion.
Arrows and the bloody tracks of short legs. Someone went gnome hunting.
And then...
Footprints on the ground. Always worth a look. Arrows and the
And then
bloody
that gives you a
tracks of
perception
short
check, and you can
legs.
interact with these and
Someone
find
went
out
gnome hunting. Arrows and the bloody
that
tracks
this
of short legs.
is
Someone
probably
went
where
gnome hunting.
Thulla escaped. She was being chased, and she was injured. She was hurt, and she jumped off of here and swam away. This is the outside gate where we came in on the raft, and the footprints are from Sergeant Thrin, who had no boots because Thulla stole them. So she walked through the blood and left footprints out here as she was chasing the gnome, or as she was chasing Thola. So it's a very interesting, you know, piece of set piece setup here in the game by the developers to highlight the interaction between Thrin and Thola. So now here I'm going to leave everybody up here in hiding. I'm going to bring Astarion down here.
What's
I
in
might not
here?
have searched this one. I didn't. We're going to go through the double iron doors. Double iron doors are unlocked by the iron key we found on that skeleton way on the other side. Over there. And then in here, there's something else. Now, I'm not entirely sure why Larian decided to put this all the way in here. But on the body of the Sharran Inquisitor here, there's a Harper key and an undelivered letter. If you read the undelivered letter, it talks about the interaction between a Sharran.
Looks splendor.
And there's the investigation check.
Cast light on the chest, and we should be all clear.
Okay. So the letter is basically an interaction between a Sharran Inquisitor and a Harper, where they were torturing the Harper to try and find the location of a stockpile that was located on a rocky overlook. They investigated, found the chest in question is trapped. Any attempt to open it might break its contents completely. The spy under interrogation was just crying, Lux Splenda, Lux Splenda. That is Latin. Actually, I don't know Splenda, but it might be like glorious light or something like that. And then you pass the investigation check, and it lets you know that you need to cast light on the chest. And this is an interaction with the mimics down in the area that we already explored previously. This would indicate that Larian expected you to come all the way in here and then backtrack to go find that chest. Whereas you run into the chest way before you get to here. So, not entirely sure why it was put all the way back in here, but you picked up the key to unlock the chest, and a hint that you need to cast a light spell on the chest to disarm it. So it's another way, instead of passing the perception checks that go, and the investigation check that goes along with the Harper stash by the mimics, you can go down there, you can cast light on the chest to disarm it, and then use the key to unlock it, and then the mimics don't trigger while you're doing that. So this is the true way the devs intended you to work through that. Like I say, it's just a little strange to me that it's all the way in here, but is what it is. And yeah, Lord Henry, that the one that he's talking about is the elevator at the end of the Trials of Shar that leads you into Shar's domain. It's incredibly bugged and has been the end of many an honor mode run. And that's, like I say, I don't subscribe to cheesing my way around an honor mode mechanic where you're not allowed to save. It's like an Iron Man playthrough. I get that, and I'm gonna follow it. But a bug ending an honor mode playthrough, especially when you spent, dozens of hours, possibly hundreds of hours working your way through it, That's inexcusable, especially one that has been known for so long. We have known about that stupid lift for literally a year. I mean, it's that broken. So now here, before I click on these again, these weapon racks here, or the one on the bottom.
These are Sharran weapons. I would recognize the Night Singer's blades anywhere.
And again, just for flavor, you don't need to pass any of those. This skeleton up here you can search. It's got a tarnished silver key, which we're going to see the use of. And here we find our first mold. This is one of 6 molds that are going to be used in the adamantine forge. This is actually one that we are going to use, the shield mold. It's going to be the longest useful one, I believe. We're going to look at one other one possibly to replace it, but
some sort.
I don't think I'm going to be replacing it. I think it's going to be that one. And that silver key works on these double doors here. Now, behind these double doors,
Nice and easy.
you're going to find some enemies. And now this, picking up that key actually is a bit of a detriment. If you lockpick this, you can lockpick it from the side, and then you can open the door kind of from the corner and move your way out of here. You don't know what's behind this. You don't know how they're moving here or anything like that. So it's always chance when you open this door as to whether or not you're going to be dropped into combat or whether you can get away. I'm going to try and attempt to move over to this corner after I've opened this door, but the chances are I won't be able to. Yeah. And whether or not you get caught on the detection cones really depends upon where the enemies are facing in here when you do that. If you lockpick it and then open the door, you can kind of open it from the side a little bit more. If you open it with the key, you move all the way over to this side when you're trying to do it. There's no way to move this way. The torch and the rocks block your path. So it's kind of a bummer that the key kind of forces you to do this if you want to open it with the key. But here we have 3 Hellsboars and our first Maragon Legionnaire. Now, a Maragon Legionnaire is interesting. They're fiends, obviously. They have Devil Sight, so fighting in darkness against them doesn't work. They have extra attack. They're also Sentinel-based. So if you're standing next to him and you attack one of the Hellsboars, he's going to get a free Sentinel attack against you, which is bad. It gives him a free attack with a reaction, which he might normally never get. So you have to kind of stay arm's length away from them. They are immune to fire damage. They're resistant to the basic forms of martial damage, but not the magic forms. They are resistant to cold damage in both magical and non-magical, and poison, they're immune. So you just stay away from them. Now the Hellsboars have Blazing Hide. When you hit them with a melee attack, it starts you burning. You take fire damage immediately when you do it, but you also start burning, which then is an additional 1d4 fire damage every turn after that. So again, you want to keep the Hellsboar at arm's length as well. Now the problem with the Hellsboar, and again, this bugs me. It's bugged me for months and months and months that it hasn't been fixed. They have a huge movement speed. They can almost outrun me. So you'll see that here in a second. My goal is to try and draw them out all the way out here. And to do that, I'm not going to be able to get a whole lot of damage in because I need to save a bonus action to dash every single time. Okay, so for this, I can attempt to move back here. I can go into hiding, use one of my bonus actions to go into hide. I can get sneak attack damage. I can use my second bonus action to dash and take off. And this, Lord Henry, is why I'm not respecking him into 5 monk, 1 rogue. Is because actions like this, to be able to go into hiding, get sneak attack damage, then also dash away afterward, or to just go into hiding there and then dash away and have them all investigate me here while I'm way down here. Way too useful. Way too useful. Now, moving 25 meters away, I'm going to move all the way down here to the bottom of this and watch where these Hellsboars go. Luckily, the one who was nearest to me went last, because he's got to work. He can't move past the others. That's the only thing that helps save you here a little bit, is the fact that they might not be able to walk past each other because of their hitboxes. But yeah, they have a huge movement speed. And you want to make sure that you are not getting caught in that. So here I'm going to cunning action hide again.
We'll do it my way.
And I might have to move a little bit. And now I'm again going to dash. And where are they? Okay, so they're going to be able to move probably down to here. Where are we? We're at 15 meters. So yeah, they're going to move 7, 25. Yeah, they're going to be able to move all the way down here. So I'm going to move out of line of sight from the Maragon. He's got a crossbow.
Let's go.
That should be enough. Okay, so he's stuck because the other one clogged up the stairs. Yep, that's exactly what I expected. Okay, so now his detection cone. Move here. Go into hiding. Get sneak attack. If I get a kill here, I'm going to become invisible. Okay. Now I'm going to move back some more.
Over here.
And now I'm dropped out of combat.
Ready or not.
Okay.
Gently.
So now I can go back into hiding, and I can make my way back in. I got one of them killed entirely. So now there are 2 left. Now they're going to heal up. Oh, this one didn't heal. Nice. I love it. And this is what I mean by the detection cones. You never really know what you're going to get when you open that door. Okay, so I want this Hellsboar here to come back towards me. And I'm going to hover over, enter turn-based mode here. Actually, I can do this. Now that he's come out from behind the door, I can go invisible here with this kill. Stealth was successful anyway. Doesn't matter. But I'm gonna need to be a ways back away because I think I might. Yeah, let's go into hiding here.
Neither seen nor heard.
Ready. Unseen.
Hello, you.
They're gonna come investigate that spot. I want to be way gone from that because invisibility's not gonna last but 2 turns. Okay, so I can get sneak attack here. So let's start in on the Maragon Legionnaire. Ooh, I passed stealth too. Okay, so I'm going to exit turn-based mode and I'm immediately going to hold control and start going after him. Okay, so I did manage to get a second attack off before he noticed me. I'm going to move back. Go into hiding.
On the hunt. This will do nicely.
Oh, he heals. Okay. Good to know. So I won't go hiding from him. There's the other Hellsboar. I need to move up a little bit. Okay, pass stealth again. Okay, move back. Oh, I missed. Okay. So I definitely want to dash here. Try and get myself out of line of sight of the Legionnaire. And look at this movement speed. 36 meters. Absolutely massive. I won't go into hiding with him. I want to draw him out. I can probably get back in here. Maybe, maybe not. Can I still hit him? I can.
Just like old times.
Huge hit. So now he's going to have to dash to get out that door. It's 5 meters to 17. Yeah, he doesn't have enough movement to get out of that door. I'm going to move right over here. Actually, let's dash just to be safe. And we'll move back a little bit more. Yeah. And now...
Attention. Sneak, sneak.
We're going to bring Karlach in here. We're going to throw one of these handy-dandy javelins.
Handy.
Because, again, you don't know where she's going to land in initiative. Okay, so you don't throw the returning pike there, or else it wouldn't have come back. It'd be laying here on the ground. And I'd have to go get it.
Shall we dance?
So now he's got 20 hit points left here.
Into the shadows.
Outstanding.
Watch the shadows.
Okay.
Another mask.
And that, like I said,
A whole gaggle of
when
miracles.
Lord Henry mentioned the
They never fight
the
alone.
more accepted way, the more
Where's their
traditional way
command?
of doing Astarian's level up, he's absolutely right. However, in the early stages here, since the monk has a ramp up in this build that takes a while to come online, I find it much easier from a way to manage individual encounters with him to have 2 bonus actions more than I do the additional monk abilities like push and topple and that sort of stuff. So once I get to level 7, that entirely reverses. Now, I believe... Okay, an opulent chest here that has the Fire Stoker. This, it deals an additional 1d4 piercing damage to burning targets. So this works exceptionally well with a crossbow that you can pick up from your gear later on in Act 2 that has the ability to set targets on fire. So you can use that as your primary hand crossbow, and then this one is your secondary. I find that the burning ability that gets triggered from that doesn't trigger very often from your gear's crossbow, so Fire Stoker is much better used in other situations, and that normally is in heat builds, where you are inflicting burning as a condition upon other people to gain heat convergence, because when you do that, there's no saving throw for it, and it triggers quite often. So Fire Stoker is much better used in those sort of builds I've found in my personal experience. But it is a useful hand crossbow. It's not something that we're going to be dealing with hardly at all right now.
Gods, how many
And you
masks
saw it
are
for a
there?
split second. Around the corner here
Still only Merrigan remains.
is the
though.
rusted key.
Whatever commanded them. I'm not sure it's dead.
Now, I have, again,
mind if I do.
over 1,400 hours of playthroughs. I have never done this. So, I'm going to go try something and see. But let's finish this side up over here before we head back over there, because I only want to deal with the moving platform one more time. I don't want to have to do it multiple times. I'm pressing my luck. So I want to finish up everything over here before I do that. So I'm going to take Astarion, jump him over here, and now this area. Now, this gap here is stupid. This is another one of those honor mode run bugs that people hate. You can walk across it. It shows that you can walk across it. Every once in a while, you will see this thing, you'll move across it, and you'll see this thing dip all the way down into the cat. You'll see the white line go all the way down, come back up, and then continue across. Because there is another possible falling through a gap thing at the end of this. Don't ever walk across that.
Don't mind if I do.
Just don't. I've seen it happen.
Go.
And you don't want to have it happen to you. So always jump across that. Don't forget to come down here. There's a gilded chest to pick up. Scroll of Sleet Storm is very nice to have. Now we're going to make our way up these stairs. And there's another skeleton here. This has the second mold, the scimitar mold. It's also got two levers, which we're going to utilize later. That's for controlling this platform.
Let's hope for gold.
Okay, now we're gonna go do the thing that I've never done. I don't know if this is what this key is for or not. I have absolutely no idea. So we will go see. I'm gonna put everybody else down here. And here's the third mold, the longsword mold. I don't think I can jump across there from here, but honestly, I've never tried either. No, can't. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one more time here. Should have saved before that. That was a mistake. And now I can just come across it and jump down there. Okay, and we have this gate here. Now that was a rusted key. This is a wrought iron gate. Wrought iron does rust. So I'm anxious to see if this key works in here, in this gate, or not, because I've never tried it. But in case it doesn't, no. Let's... Where is... Oh, Gale might have it. Well, I'm going to be taking a long rest pretty quick anyway. I'm going to give him the Disintegrating Nightwalkers so we can Misty Step. If it doesn't work. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for this thing to go off. I'm gonna enter turn-based mode and I'm gonna dash. Wait. I haven't found these two traps. I forgot.
Traps.
I need to disarm these two first. Go down the ladder.
Someone doesn't like visitors.
Exit turn-based mode. And do some searching while I'm down here, might as well. And here you're going to find another chest. This obviously is made a lot harder because I was frustrated and didn't use one of my inspirations when I rolled the double nat ones. But we can still do it. It's just going to take us a bit of action economy management and turn-based mode here, so. Okay, now I'm going to come up to the base of the ladder here. And my goal is to see if that rusted key, I'm going to wait for it to blast again, if that rusted key unlocks this gate or not. I have never unlocked this gate with a key. I don't know if you can unlock it with a key. No, you can't. So that key does not work in it. So I'm going to Misty Step in here. Can use the lever. Oh, I can't use the lever because I'm out of actions. To turn it off. And that disables all of the traps all the way down the length of this. So I don't have to disarm this one anymore. So I actually don't know what the rusted key goes to. Actually. Don't forget the gilded chest around the end here that has the Protecty Sparks wall. And again, I think this is the final item in the lightning charges thing. You gain a +1 bonus to spell save DC, but the wearer has a +1 bonus to armor class and saving throws as long as they have lightning charges. This is clothing. Okay, this is not armor. Now, right now, Astarion has lightning charges. He's based around that because of the sparkle hands. So, for Astarion, the choices are being able to activate patient defense and make a reaction using an unarmed strike, or to constantly have a +1 armor class whenever I have lightning charges. For now, it's actually better for Astarion to wear this and gain +1 bonus to armor class and saving throws whenever he makes an attack with the sparkle hands and gains lightning charges. Okay, so for right now for him, this is actually a better way for him to go when he's in his combat build setup. Okay. So for now, that's how we're going to... And... No, Crusher's Ring I want. This one. Okay, so this is the setup that we're going to have for now. Yes, Astamura, I did. And sorry I didn't mention that earlier. I meant to mention it in an admin note. Give me just a second. Right before I do our long rest here, I'll actually talk about that. But yes, thank you actually for reminding me about that. Last thing to do before you get here, there's a skeleton you can search here. And here is an Idol of Shar.
An aspect of the Lady of Loss. Shadowheart may appreciate its fine.
Okay, so we're going to progress a little bit. We're going to open up the next waypoint, and then we are going to take our long rest.
Wretched thing, pull yourself together. Breathe deep and move.
Okay, so we're going to make our way down this elevated platform.
Open up.
And you can see down below where we are. This is the area where we fought Nere. Okay, they were trying to make their way through to get further in. They just hadn't found this area because it was blocked off. And the Rothe hadn't opened it up yet. So here, we're going to use an arrow and we're going to shoot the near one here. That's going to bring this platform up. And again, I'm going to manually save here. One, this jump is a little sketchy.
Rust. Must be older than bone dust.
Someone there?
A long way to go still.
What to do?
And now that you're up here, you want to trigger the far one. Or you can trigger the near one. It doesn't matter which order you do this in. So I'm going to trigger the near... Actually... No. I want to trigger the far one first. You can trigger the near one. It just makes getting position for the shot harder. So I'm going to trigger the far one. And hope I don't glitch through this thing. Okay, looks like everybody's feet are still above it. I'm going to take Astarion, and I'm going to hit the near one again. Right now, if you jump down off of this, you're going to take fall damage. Which you certainly can. I could go feather fall and jump off of it. But you can hit the near one. No. Yeah, that's right. That drops you down. And now you're jumping up onto this. And you just kind of have to do it in a particular
I
order.
wonder what the next move is. This way.
Oh, I could go for a good meal.
Because your characters might need to move toward the middle of the platform to get a line to jump up here.
Honk honk.
Let's move.
How delicious.
Still alive, so that's
Okay,
progress.
so good deal. We didn't have any bugs there. We're gonna quickly jump down here and open up this waypoint. Okay. So we're gonna do this last bit here, and then we're gonna take our long rest. But before I do, Ostamura's point. I don't know why I didn't really look into it very much. I should have, because this is an industry standard. I just don't like it, and I kind of wanted to wait and get y'all's input. Superchat is a way on YouTube to donate directly to a streamer. It's very similar to donations that you get in Twitch and other places like that, and as such it operates the exact same way. I just didn't pay attention to it when I activated them on my channel a long time ago, because I hadn't received a super chat until Ostamura donated a couple of weeks ago, and that's when I noticed. It's a reasonable assumption for people to think that when they donate directly to a streamer, that the streamer receives all of that donation. That is not the case. YouTube and Twitch both take 30% of that donation for themselves. It's not hidden from us as streamers. It's just something that I wasn't aware of because I didn't read through everything, the fine print of it, until my first one came in. I think that's a horrible business practice, but multi-billion-dollar companies don't get to be multi-billion-dollar companies without taking fees from everything and everyone. I think it's one of those things that it's certainly YouTube's right to do, and I can't and I won't criticize them for doing it. And as being a YouTube partner and my channel being monetized, if I did, there would be repercussions for that anyway, which is why I'm not doing it. However, I think it's also perfectly fine to say that people have a reasonable expectation that when they click that donation button, that the money's going to go to this, all that money's going to go to the streamer, and it doesn't. So I turned it off after I noticed it the first time, until I had a chance to talk about it. And what I'll probably do is put up a community post about it and see. At the very least, if I turn it back on, I'm going to have a notification on the channel in the before every live stream goes up to mention it, so that people are not caught unaware by it. But I'll put up a community post with a poll in it and see if people are comfortable still donating and knowing that, or if they just wouldn't do it at all. And that will inform whether or not I turn the option back on for people to donate to me, knowing that YouTube is going to take their 30% as part of the partner program, which is, like I say, perfectly legal and fair for them to do. It's the same on, it's not just YouTube specific, it's Twitch as well. So I don't have any hard feelings for them in the business model that they put together. I just don't want people to think that their money's all going to me and then they find out from some other method, from some other way, that YouTube took a chunk out of it and they're upset because that money went to them instead of to me, and I didn't let them know about it up front. So that kind of explains it, Ostamura. Thanks for reminding me. I will put up a poll about it in the community tab and let people talk about it and kind of see if I turn it back on or not. So while we're here, we're going to do a quick little bit of searching. Another set of Dark Justiciar mail. And here's the mace mold. This is the fourth, I believe, of the molds that we can pick up. Not one that we are going to utilize, though.
Very well
Okay, we're gonna move everybody up here and we're gonna break our group again. We're pretty safe from prying eyes over here, so here we have our 5th mold, which is the Splint Mold Heavy. This is heavy armor. They put that in parentheses for people who aren't familiar with the various armor types. In D&D, this lets you know that that's the heavy armor version of armor, as opposed to the scale mail, which is the medium armor version, which is going to be the last one that we're going to find. Oh, a scroll of hypnotic pattern, which is nice. Fire resistance, which is very, very useful. Coming up here. The Forge construction log lets you know about the Forge, and again, how it operates. We already learned how it operates, though. And before Astarion goes down there, he's going to go back to camp. He's going to pick something up from the camp chest. And that's these 3 remaining Sister Blooms. Remember, we destroyed 2 of them in the Nere fight. But we're perfectly fine with having these 3. It just gives us a little less margin of error while we go through this. So haste helm we definitely need.
Time for bitter business.
Let's put this back on. I'm actually going to give him the gloves of missile snaring on Astarion for now. Can't remember what gloves my bard was wearing. Oh, it was the herbalist gloves. Okay. And now we're going to go into this with Astarion. Now I do, before I do this, just to make it easier, one of these went up here. Oh, come on. Okay. I'm going to move in here with Astarion. And there's our 6th splint mold, the scale mail. And again, in parentheses, you can see that it's medium armor. I'm actually going to move up here, and I'm going to start this combat not in hiding. It tends to get a little bit harder if I am trying to do this with them moving around. If I pass my stealth check here and they start moving around, things can get a little weird. So I'm going to move out of hiding here and trigger this combat. How did I pass a stealth check there? I wasn't in stealth. Okay. So, I rolled first initiative, which is what I wanted. I'm going to immediately dash. And now I'm going to take this Susser Bloom. Right around the corner. I'm going to move up here.
On the way.
And this gets a little weird just because of the camera angles. I'm going to drop one Susser Bloom there and one here. And there we go. So now all 4 of the animated armors are in a Susser Flower anti-magic field. They're not going to be able to take a turn. So they are just done. The reason I put the Gloves of Missile Snaring on is because if I failed that or I rolled later in the initiative turn, which can happen with the ranged versions, the ranged ones up here, if they would get at least one attack on me, I'd be able to stop that with the Gloves of Missile Snaring. But now I don't need to worry about it. Because they can't do anything. So now I'm going to put these gloves back on. And we'll just start whittling them down. And I could bring my other characters up here to help with this. Doesn't really matter. No, leave it there. Oh. It doesn't matter. I've got it in my inventory. So I am like a mobile anti-magic field now. And you're right, Lord Henry, I might not have searched the mimics. Oh yeah, he does a martial arts kicking animation. And again, there's another instance where having 2 bonus actions was nice. I came up short on movement to be able to use my bonus action on arm strike, so I could just dash with my first bonus action. Easy as that. And that is the final usage, actually, of the Susser Blooms. There is another place that you can utilize them, however the chances of it actually working are really, really small. So, and there's our 6th mold that we picked up. So just move a bunch of this off. Up Shadowhearts now. Encumbered, but not by much. Okay.
Taking my time in the shadows. They should all be
So
ready.
let's go check what Lauren Henry just says. Now that we have this waypoint open, it's easy for us to fast travel back and forth. So I very well might have forgot to search the mimics down here after our fight last week. Yep, we did. Thank you very much, Lord Henry. Again, I love my chat. You guys are great. It's very, very hard to go through a playthrough and quote-unquote get everything. That's not going to happen on this playthrough, obviously, either. But with y'all's help, I can hopefully show you some things that you might have missed, while at the same time you guys can make sure that I'm not missing stuff on my own, because these gloves are very important. These gloves carry me through a long way as a bard. They will be very useful all the way up until Act 3. So the Wondrous Gloves are here on the Mimic, and it's just a straight +1 bonus to armor class. However, if you have Bardic Inspiration, which my bard does, I gain 1 more use of it, and that's incredibly useful because as a College of Swords bard, my flourishes are based on how many Bardic Inspirations I have. So now I have 4. So that gives me 1 more whole use of any of my flourishes, and with Slashing Flourish ranged, that's 2 whole ranged attacks additional that I can get out of that. So very, very useful. Now, did I even search the chest?
Looks like the place the Dark Justicia's letter mentioned. But where's the stash?
Yes, I did. I searched it before Astarion went up. Yes. So I did at least do that. Okay. So now we are at a point where we can take our long rest, and then we're going to work our way toward Grym. We're going to have 2 encounters before we get to Grym, and we may go a little bit long today, but I'm sure y'all won't mind that. So let's go ahead and take our long rest. We might get a cutscene here. Okay, so we didn't. And let's put the Lesser Blooms back in our camp chest. We'll go through and have our conversations.
Need something?
Don't think there's going to be a whole lot here.
Copper for your thoughts.
Speak.
Okay, these are from the 2 slates that we found in the Arcane Tower.
Once again, your mind opens to Lae'zel, and she considers the disc.
More writings on Orpheus, the so-called Prince of the Comet. The Prince of the Comet, Part 1. So it was that we were free from Ghaik's shackles and turned our blades on each other. The heavens were shattered, and one great empire was divided in 2. Gith traveled to the Hells to broker help for her people, her cause. Vlaakith would have you believe Mother Gith proclaimed her our queen. Lies. Gith made no such proclamation. Vlaakith seized the Empire against the Mother's wishes. But Gith had nurtured a son, Orpheus, Prince of the Comet, the true heir. He knew Vlaakith's treachery. Orpheus rallied Gith's honor guard and declared the throne for himself. The War of the Comet had begun. Disregard this drivel. Gith declared Vlaakith queen of the Empire, and her own son defied her. Orpheus would have ceded control to the Geich.
Okay, so nothing new there. Here's
I have
Barkus.
something to ask.
I thank you for the invitation to your camp. It's, well appointed, not too crowded, perfect for thinking. And I've been doing just that. It's about Wulbren. We know he's been taken to Moonrise Towers, and we know I'm going to save him. The problem is this: a preponderance of evidence that I am a terrible adventurer. I'm not sure I should trust Wulbren's fate to, well, me. You've done so much already. I'm hesitant to prevail upon you again. But I can't risk recapture. I barely escaped last time. You'd do it then. You'd look for him. That's very decent of you. Thank you. There's something else you should know. Something I can no longer ignore. I know you've learned about the gnome's pursuit of rune powder, but do you know what it truly is? That myth has come to life. The Iron Hand gnomes have proven the impossible. Rune powder is real, and they have it in their possession. Destruction. The only thing it's good for. But destruction of what? Well, I'm hoping Wulbren will be able to tell us. I shouldn't have let him drift away. Shouldn't have let that lot get their claws into him. Now more than ever, I need to find him. We need to find him. He's the only one I might be able to speak to sensibly. I'd kiss you, but neither of us deserve that. Thank you. I haven't been there myself. The area around it is, well, cursed. Terrifyingly so. I did hear something interesting, though. There are shades that plague the path to the towers. Shades that fear not steel, but light. Dwergar, who mentioned it, sounded truly traumatized. It was almost amusing. Like what? Alchemist, tinkerer, adventurer, curmudgeon. I wear many hats, most with great enthusiasm. Thank you for noticing. Barkus Root is my name. Baldur's Gate is my home. Back in the city, I offered my expertise to the highest bidder. I was quite popular, too. I'm not picky about my customers. I suppose I'd be very, very sad. Then, after a while, I'd find whoever killed him and put a smoke powder bomb in their trousers.
Barkus is an interesting story. It's a really interesting character arc that I'm glad they put in the game.
Well met.
Well, my day just improved. Did you want something?
This is the idol that we picked up from the trapped causeway a little bit ago.
You thought of me. Thank you. It's beautiful. I'll find a place of honor for it in camp. Nobody's ever given me anything before. What do I owe you in return? Thank you. Lady Shard teaches us to forswear material goods. but I think she'll make an exception for her own image. I wonder, perhaps this is connected to the Dark Justiciars. This is no coincidence, I'm sure of it. I need to keep an eye out for more signs. Learn more about the Justiciars' presence in these lands. It could be important. As long as I've prayed to Lady Shar, I've wished to serve her as a Dark Justiciar. There is scarcely a greater way to fully dedicate yourself to Lady Shar, save perhaps if you become the head of her church. Thank you. I should have known you'd be understanding.
Okay, and last is Halson.
You wish to speak?
And we don't need any of these. Okay. So, now we kind of run into a bit of a crossroads as to how we want to deal with the next set of encounters. So I'm going to keep my party the same for now. I'm going to take my long rest here. We're going to head out, do one encounter, then we're going to come back, probably swap out a party member to do the second. Most of the ones are wines.
Food, hungry. Want, bite. Food. Eat more!
Oh my gods! Look at its little beak! Oh, come here, you doll.
No! Run!
Damn it! You scared it off. Poor little beaky fella. Hope he finds his way back.
She has a great interaction with the owlbear. Astarion talks about eating it or biting it for a vampire blood, and there's some great interactions there. So going to look around and just make sure I don't have any, doesn't look like I have any icons anywhere, so we'll go ahead and leave camp. And we will get our buffs going.
Careful, I bite.
Okay. I think
breathing,
that's it
despite
for now. So now let's head back to the Ancient Forge. And we have 3 encounters left here.
Mind my
All
step.
of them are down here. One to the left, one to the right, and one in the middle down below. Okay. And we're going to... put everybody into hiding here. We're gonna ungroup. Shadowheart,
Mission has to
like
come
I
first.
mentioned previously, needs to have sanctuary for this. And we're gonna try and utilize Astarion for this as much as we can. There will come a point where we might need to swap off of him. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So let's
I'm ready.
cast Sanctuary on Astarion. We're going to put Shadowheart back into hiding.
Step careful.
No time to dally.
And we're going to bring Astarion down here as quickly as we can. Gonna go around this corner. We're going to get a save here. Bring him right down to the edge here. Now you see, we're surprised. Okay, so you would have 5 magma Mephits who are all getting free attacks against you here. Except I have Sanctuary. So they can't target me. Nobody else is in combat, so I still have them in reserve. And now that I have Sanctuary, I again can't be attacked. So moving away, I'm not going to invoke any or provoke any attacks of opportunity from them. I am free to maneuver how I want for the next 4 turns or until I make an attack. And here again is where having 2 bonus actions can be nice, because see, where I'm at right now, I'm hemmed in. I can't move back this way. There are many more avenues of escape this way than there are this way, where I'm stuck in this little area here. So I want to try and make my way back out of here, but I can't really do that because I need to jump to get out of here. I don't want to use my Misty Step unless I have to. So I'm going to use 1 bonus action to jump out of here. Okay. And then my movement is going to take me all the way back there. Trying to think how I want to play this. Yeah, we'll try it.
A subtle approach.
Now I'm going to get a sneak attack against this one here. Hopefully get a kill. That will send me into invisibility. Okay. And now I can hopefully move far enough away that detect invisibility does not find me.
Don't linger.
When this happens, combat's going to end. My invisibility timer is going to start ticking down over there on the left. You can see it. And I'm going to go back into turn-based mode while I'm still invisible. And now I'm going to try, and now I can get sneak attack from here. I don't have to be in hiding anymore to get it. So I'm going to try and kill another one down here. Okay, that's going to put me into combat again, but again, since I got a kill, immediately makes me invisible. So now I'm going to move the opposite direction. Where am I? No, I think I'm going to move up here to the top this time. No, because they're going to be out of range if I do that. I'm going to move the opposite direction here. I think that's far enough away. No, because he's probably going to end up here. Okay. Now, when this happens, my invisibility is going... It's only got one turn left. So it's going to run out. Okay. And who's going first? He is... Where's this Mephit in the turn order? Oh, he's way down at the end. Okay. So this one's going to come up next. He probably won't be able to reach me. This one will be able to reach me and fly up here. So this Mephit is facing this way. Sorry, I'm trying to manage the detection cones here. Because I don't want to get seen here. So, yes, we're actually going to move back up to here. And I'm going to use one of my bonus actions to go into hiding. Because, again, my invisibility is going to run out before I can click turn-based mode again. So I want to try and remain out of sight here. I could actually... No, I can't. That was probably a mistake on my part. I probably should have jumped over here first. We'll see if this works. If not, I have backup, because none of my other party members are in combat yet. Hopefully, he ends up facing away from me. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Nope. Went into combat. So I got one in front of me. But he had to dash. Okay, I'd prefer not to have been threatened by this guy. So let's provoke the... If I provoke the attack of opportunity... Let's provoke the attack of opportunity up here. Okay, perfect. Now let's get down here.
With finesse.
Go into hiding.
Leave no trace.
Get a sneak attack. Hopefully kill him. That puts me into invisibility again. My invisibility's here, so now I'm going to move all the way up here.
On my way.
And end turn. And now I have 2 turns of invisibility left. And none of this would be possible if I only had 1 bonus action. But I've got 2 here. So it makes managing this combat a lot easier as long as I go through my... Now while my invisibility timer's ticking down. Okay, so here, let's get a sneak attack on this one. Now, can I get it on this one? I can. Let's get this one. Oh, and I got outrolled. Well, I gotta pass the saving throw here. Okay, so I did pass it. And I wanted to kind of move away from these guys a little bit. Now they're going to come back down here towards me. I'm going to move back up. And again, use my second bonus action to go into hide because I only have 1 turn of invisibility left. Oh. Going to be a problem anyway because I wasn't paying attention to who was moving. So his detection cone's overlapping me here. Don't fly up here. Okay. Now he's the only one in combat. That's interesting.
Be quick. We found the forge. And to think, people say size doesn't matter.
And now things get a little more limited because the fire, and actually I can actually wait that out. Because they don't move once the turn ends. So let me wait this fire out. There we go. That frees up more movement options for me.
I'm so tired. How do people do this all day?
That might be a little too close. I'll take the one shot.
Let's prowl.
And I'll wait this out and deal with the last 2. This one almost never enters into combat. Do I have a shot on him here? I do. Don't know why it's positioning me down there. Now, we're good. Okay. You want to come all the way down here, I don't have a problem with that. I'll just kill you right here. And Astarion said, "This is mine, I got this. Don't worry about it. It's all me." And again, this is why I say the monk rogue build really turns into what you want it to be at level 7. But up through level 6, I find it much more useful to have more levels in rogue than in monk. Just for reasons like that. I can better manage the combats. But people are free to play the builds however they want. This is just how I'm doing it. Okay, so we're gonna move down here and we're gonna explore this side real quick.
Certainly.
More scrolls for Shadowheart. There's our first piece of mithril ore.
It's mine now.
And another elixir of fire resistance. Under normal circumstances, would be very, very useful. Okay, so we're We're gonna group everybody up again. Karlach sometimes gets stuck here. We'll see if she makes the jump or not. She did.
Quick step.
And we will jump our way down onto the Adamantine Forge. And I want to move everybody back here. And put them into hiding. I'm going to ungroup. And I want to look at... So I've only got 4 of them. I have 6 more arrows of lightning. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I'm debating on who's going to get it. Sorry, just debating here real quick. No, actually, I think this is taking a chance if I do it this way. It's just whether or not it becomes more frustrating or not. That's really the only thing here. Okay, we're gonna go back to camp. We're gonna bring Gale back into our party.
Ready.
Gale's up here.
Already feeling better.
What's on your mind? Would that I could.
We're gonna leave Shadowheart behind.
Back in the
I
thick
normally
of
wouldn't
things
do
at
this. I
last.
would normally leave Astarion behind.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Okay, yeah, this is... Okay, so he gets it all ready. Okay, we're gonna have some what looks like strange choices here. Oh, I don't. Either one of those gets prepared. So and then for him, I need to make sure that we're also bringing Morning Frost for me. Okay, so we're gonna put all of these into the spell tome just in case. Bring those back with. I think that's it. So Gale has Ray of Frost and Ice Knife. I have Morning Frost. which is actually going to be on my Bard. So now she can cast Ray of Frost as a cantrip whenever she wants. Astarion's going to have all the arrows of ice. Like I say, this is an experiment for me, actually. So we'll kind of see how this goes. And then I may swap out one of these arrows of ice depending upon what I need to do with a flourish. So, because this encounter can be frustrating.
Pity their vision didn't stand the test of time.
Even more so in honor mode.
Just look at this place.
You've quite the knack for finding the bright side of things, haven't you?
Okay, so we are going to jump across here.
Quite the lively little pond, aren't you?
And make our way down to here, right at the edge. And get ready to jump. Actually, we might not need to from here. Okay, I can hit him from here. So okay. So now he's dropped into combat. We don't really care about anything here. This is just kind of bringing him towards us. So, because he's going to be getting all of his HP back. The reason for this is because of his magmatic regeneration. He regains 20 to 120 hit points when starting a turn in lava. Now, he has an ability called Melt the Earth, where he can create lava wherever he moves, kind of like the acid that oozes leave behind them. He can do the same thing with lava, like the wood regeneration does when they create twisting vines on the ground underneath him. That lasts for 2 turns, and during those times he is going to have magmatic regeneration because he's standing on lava. So what we need to do is we're going to see how the initiative order plays out, and then we are going to, well, we're going to move him into position first. Then we're going to see how the initiative order plays out, and then we will plan out how best to do enough damage to him in a single turn so that we can keep him from regenerating, and then also on our next turn be able to kill him, because we're not going to be able to do 123 hit points worth of damage in a single turn. We just don't have that type of burst damage here available to us. So we're going to draw him back towards us. Okay, and again, he's got magmatic regeneration because he's standing in lava, so it doesn't matter what damage we do to him. Okay, and he's also, by the way, resistant to piercing damage. So your bows are doing half damage on the piercing damage aspect of them. He's immune to fire, he's resistant to poison, but he's not immune to it. And he takes double damage from cold, and that's where, again, most of our damage is going to come from. And that's why I have Gale here, is because Gale has access to both Ice Knife and Ray of Frost, so he can cast the Ray of Frost cantrip all he wants over and over and over again. He can cast Ice Knife until he runs out of spells, and he can upcast Ice Knife as well. I move Morning Frost onto my Bard so that she can cast the Ray of Frost cantrip over and over and over again. Karlach is going to be getting additional bludgeoning damage from the throws that she makes, and that additional bludgeoning damage is going to be useful from two aspects. One, she's going to get 3 attacks per round, because when in Frenzy, she's going to gain an additional throwing action. That throwing action can also knock him backward and or knock him prone. And that can be very beneficial to us to knock him out of lava that he's currently standing on, and that sort of stuff. The Mobile Flourish from my Bard is also going to be useful in doing the exact same thing. Okay, so now we're going to keep moving backwards here, and he's probably going to actually stop, like down here, if I remember this right, but we don't care. We just want to get him back here. And we want him stuck in this little corner here. There's Create Lava. So now you'll see he's going to leave a trail behind him. Okay. And you can see for 2 more turns, it's going to be working. So what's going to happen is next turn, he's going to move right here. All right. At that time, I am going to start, I'm going to try and knock him out of his lava, because then at the end of that turn, Melt the Earth will run out, and wherever he's landing, he will not be in lava. Hopefully, I will have knocked him prone at that point, and we can finish him off. But now I want to draw him into here. So again, I'm not going to try and cause damage because he's just going to heal it because he's standing on lava. Okay, perfect. So now he's got 1 turn of it left. So next turn it's going to disappear. So what I want to do this turn is cause a whole bunch of damage to him, push him back so he lands back here, so he does not start his turn on lava again, so he can't regenerate. So let's go ahead and start off by going into hiding.
Let's find some prey.
Going to do a ranged attack with an arrow of ice. And yes, Lord Henry, I do have them. If this one doesn't work, then yes, I will go that way. Okay. So let's start this off here. I'm going to use Luck of the Far Realms. I rolled a 2. Oh, the lava elemental needs a 12 to save. They rolled a 2. Is this a misnomer? No. So why is it asking me for a portent die here when the lava elemental did not save against it? I don't know. I don't care. Let's see what happens and see if this is badly worded. Okay, it was not. So it's weird. Even when enemies fail their saving throws, it's asking me if I want to do it. Now that was huge. I did not expect a crit. So I might very well be able to just flat out kill him here on this turn.
Knees are starting to ache. That way.
We're going to move Gale up here on top. We're going to cast Ice Knife, and we're going to upcast this. Gale needs a 12 to hit. I rolled an 11, so I definitely want to use his portent die for that to hit. And he's saved. Okay.
What now? Don't waste a
So that was a horrible roll.
What do we have here?
Jeez, I rolled a 4. Oh, he saved against all of it. Okay, so let's not do this. Let's bring Karlach in first.
Long and low.
Because we might need to still push him back now.
Don't want to think about why my eye is itching.
What's cooking?
Okay, so where's the initiative order? So he's still last.
Soldier. This'll help.
Okay. So it posed up Karlach's initiative. So let's move him back off of his lava. And to do that, I want to be here. And a mobile flourished, not melee, a mobile flourish ranged. See, it's going to knock him back into a spot where he does not have lava. Okay. He's not on lava right now. Melt the Earth is going to run out on his turn, and he's not going to regenerate. While we're here, you know, I might as well... What are we at? 30? You know, we can stop my frustration here.
Keep them guessing.
Rolled a 9. You're absolutely kidding me. I rolled a 2. You are absolutely kidding me. And he saved. That was the worst. The absolute worst. Okay, so he's frightened. He can't move. So... it's the worst.
These boots have seen everything.
Well, waste of a speed potion, but is what it is. Okay. So that's the way to kind of manage him, is to knock him out of his lava so he does not start his turn on it, and that will basically give you 2 turns in which to fight him, because it triggers at the start of his turn. So if he has to move to get into lava, that doesn't count. As long as he doesn't start his turn on that lava, he can't regenerate. So it's a way. That's how I normally end up doing it. If it becomes too frustrating, then like Lord Henry says, Arrows of Ilmater.
Keep a blade close.
Prevent a target from regaining hit points. So that's certainly another way of doing it as well. And then all you have to do is wait for the timer to run out, and the lava will go away. So I wasted a speed potion there because of that horrific roll.
Let's go.
But... and now once he's dead, the lava bubbles are not there anymore. They were part of something called magmatic disturbance, and the lava elemental was causing them. So now you're free to move around out here, and I'm actually going to go across this way. And you need to be careful. Lava hurts bad. Okay, so don't step in it. Okay, and then I can make one last jump, or not one last, but another jump to here, and then one last one up to here. Okay, so for this, it's best you do this with your monk. That's going to give you a bonus to the first check you have to make. Now, I want to try and succeed the others as well. Do I have... I do not. I'm going to remove this. Okay. So, adding the Helmet of Autonomy gave me a +3 proficiency to my saving throws. However, there's a downside to that in that I can't be wearing the Warped Headband of Intellect. You're going to get 1 wisdom check here, and then you're going to get 3 possible intelligence checks afterward. So I think I'm probably going to put the Warped Headband of Intellect on for that +3 instead. So, and it doesn't matter what ring I have on, so I'll just put that one back. Okay, and then I can... There is another ring that I have. Here's Religion. And I don't think I have the one that gives me insight check advantage. I think that's later. Okay. So we also need to have the silver pendant. And I need to have these on.
Simple.
Okay, so a relatively high DC here. Might as well search the skeleton while we're here, and now we're going to open the adamantine chest. The thing that's in here is the sentient amulet. Okay, this is a monk-specific item that we can get here. We're going to pick this up, and it's going to start us down a cutscene. So we want to make sure that we still have our stuff going.
Thou hast come!
The amulet is heavy, but holds a subtle warmth, like it was left under the sun. Suddenly, the metal surges with heat. You feel great power and an overwhelming urge to laugh.
Can thou endure?
And here we have a special monk selection here that gives us advantage. We wouldn't have it on a normal wisdom check, but here we have advantage on this because we are a monk. So DC 10, we've got 5 to 11, so we need to roll a 5 out of these 2 dice. And because I'm talking about it, we're going to roll a 2 and a 3. Okay.
You observe the urge to laugh from afar, letting it fade with each breath.
Thou hast done well. For what is a laugh, if not one step toward madness? Thou art the one! Return me, take me home, and thou shalt glow with blessings.
Okay, we have an investigation and insight check down here. None of these are needed. You could stow the amulet or equip it right now if you would like. I'm just, again, trying to show you all the things that go along with these options.
To thy granddaughter, Shira Clawen, serves Ilmata Shida. She waits in Worm's Crossing. Take me there, and thou shalt bathe in her golden gifts. Oh, thou shalt be blessed indeed. A ghost? I am sunlight on water, dew on grass. Sharran's broke my body, but my spirits they could not. Well, not completely. Thou shalt return me home. It is written. I shall walk with thee. I shall grant you my power.
Okay, so now we're going to go down these 2 routes here. And again, the Warped Headband of Intellect has given us a +4 here. So we rolled the exact minimum. That's not a good sign.
Etched on its face is an image of the dawning sun.
And that opens up the religion check. Now here we're getting +1 from Mage's Friend.
You recognize the symbol. It belongs to those sworn to Lathander, god of dawn and renewal. Whatever madness this spirit suffers was inflicted by Lathander's enemies, followers of Shar. And this madness may flow into you.
And last is the insight check.
Beneath the rampant joy, you sense the monk's fear and sincerity. He doesn't wish to harm you, but that doesn't mean he won't.
And all of those give you some hints about the usage of the amulet. So I'm going to stow it.
You feel a chuckle coming on, but it soon fades.
Okay, so the amulet here comes with Shatter, which is nice. It's a great spell. You can cast it once per short rest, which is really nice. You can talk to the sentient amulet. Now, this is actually a really special ability because you can see it doesn't take an action to do it. but it actually resets certain things. So we'll kind of explore this a little more later on. It's probably a bug in how it operates. And then it has key restoration. So once per long rest, using the spiritual energy of the amulet, restore 2 key points, which is great. However, those other checks we went through kind of highlighted the fact that the madness from the amulet may flow into us. And even though he doesn't want to harm us, he actually might. If you equip this, you're going to have to pass a check, and that check is going to knock you into Tasha's hideous laughter if you fail it. So when you use it for shatter or key restoration, it may actually trigger Tasha's. Well, it's going to trigger it, and you have to save against it. So it may be bad while you're in combat trying to use either one of those 2 things to get your key points back or something like that, and you're suddenly rolling on the ground in Tasha's hideous laughter, and now you're vulnerable to all sorts of additional attacks. So right now, in the state it's in, it's got benefits, but it's not a great amulet to use while you're in combat. Using it out of combat, not so bad to get key points back. But as for the rest of it, you probably don't want to be using it in combat. In Act 3, that will clear itself up. You can complete that quest, the amulet is going to change and into something that removes that downside. Okay, so now we're going to take everybody else, or actually we'll just
Can't slow down.
sake of time. We're gonna move everybody back over here off of the forge. We're actually gonna move everybody all the way back up here. Okay, we're gonna put everybody in hiding. We're gonna break our group.
Keep your blade close.
Astarion.
Stepping softly.
It's going to go back onto the forge. Now, for the forge, you have to drop the forge down first. For you to drop the forge, you have to put something in you have to put a mold in, you have to put some mithril in, and you have to hit the forge lever.
Very well then. What's this? A snug little
Okay,
spot.
so for our mold, Astarion has all the molds. So we are going to start with the splint mold heavy. The adamantine splint mold is a great heavy armor
It's perfect.
for early game.
Now we just need something to forge.
And then in the crucible, you need to drop one of the 2... Oh, we didn't pick up the other mithril ore.
On my way.
So I will go do that. Which is over here. Oh, did I leave a bunch of torches on the ground? Shame.
Yeah.
Honor mode. Can't leave stuff laying around. And yes, we're going to fight Grym today, so have no fear, I'm not going anywhere. So you get a bonus live stream. That went for 4 hours instead of 3, and now you get extended time today too. So y'all are just, it's a lucky week
I'll just
for y'all.
help myself.
But I love playing this game too, so. Okay, you can walk across this. I tend not to, just because you tend to slip into the lava sometimes. And there's our second mithril ore. Now I want to... There's the survival check. Hey Tord, welcome to the stream. Didn't know you were here. Scroll of Blink. Nice. And then again, being careful of the lava. And now we'll head back down to the forge. We're not going to need that second piece for a while yet, but might as well pick it up now instead of having to do it later. Because I know y'all wanted to see this fight. So let's do it. Okay, so now you trigger the forge lever, the forge hammer is going to come down, and it's going to drop the forge down to the bottom level here. Okay, we're going to go into turn-based mode. We're going to trigger the forge lever. We're going to jump out of here. And exit turn-based mode. Move Astarion way back up here.
Well.
Put him into hiding. And the forge lever went down. Or the forge went down. Now, Karlach is going to solo Grym. And we are not going to use the hammer to do it. This is going to show you the raw power of a tavern brawler throwing barbarian with a returning weapon. Okay. And some interesting things are going to happen with this encounter. So to trigger it, you need to trigger the lava valve, and we can do that from range all the way from up here. And we're going to start this off by attacking Grym with our crossbow and start the combat. Okay, now Grym in honor mode. One, bunch of hit points, right? In regular, he's got 225 in balance mode. He's got 450. Here. The hammer takes off around 100-ish each time, so if you were doing this the normal way, fighting down there, maneuvering him around the hammer, you'd have to drop it 4, maybe 5 times. So it's a problem. It's a big problem. Resistances are all the same. He is superheated right now, and when he's superheated, he is vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. Crushing damage from throwing an item from a high spot is bludgeoning damage. He's vulnerable to that, and we are throwing from a really high spot. You will see how that plays out. He's immune to a bunch of different elemental types, resistant to force. And here we go. He has a legendary action called Adamantine Reverberation. So once per round, he can use his action to reverberate when he is struck, doubling its movement. Okay? So if you're trying to kite him around here, and we've gone through this fight before where his movement speed is enough to get him from the center of this outer ring to the hammer. But if you've hit him, he can now walk all the way across this thing. So kiting him to the hammer becomes much harder. Now you are definitely using things like minor illusion and that sort of stuff to try and drag him under the hammer, because kiting him around just flat isn't going to work anymore. Now that's not all about that action. It grants him temporary hit points, and the thing is kind of bugged out here. There it is. So it grants it 10 temporary hit points. Now when those temporary hit points, when you do enough damage to remove them, it triggers a shockwave that knocks everybody back 4 meters and deals 4d8 thunder damage. This fight, I've actually done this fight in honor mode, non-cheesed. It took me about an hour and a half, and I will never, ever do it again. There is just no way, because when you get your melee characters into range to do bludgeoning damage against him, and it starts proccing this, he just turns into a beast. He just, he's it's just so hard to deal with this. This is the most OP legendary action in the game. So if you're going to do this in honor mode, do it this way. Save yourself the headache. Okay. So now he is superheated. I have an extra attack here. I'm first in the initiative order. So I'm going to throw my returning pike down here at him. I've got an 80% chance to hit, but that's simply because I have favorable beginnings going into this. So I'm going to throw the returning pike.
Handy.
Okay, I got the pike back, and you see he immediately got adamantine reverberation. So he's got it. His movement speed, you're going to see he's going to be able to move all the way around this map. And I'm going to frenzy. See how far he can move? That's all the way across. That's all the way across the arena. I mean, all the way across the arena. It's stupid. Okay, so the only thing that you're going to run into here with Grym is positioning. Okay? And that's where can you stand to be able to throw things at him. Okay, so here my path is interrupted. That one probably won't hit. So let's jump up here. And throw from here. Okay, so I'm a little bit too far off. Right there. Did you see the 32 damage? That's from crushing damage from the 16.7 meter height. You double that height to get your bludgeoning damage, and I'm going to be dealing 30 bludgeoning damage here. 30 to 32 bludgeoning damage, depending on whether I'm down here or I'm up here. every time I throw. The crazy thing about bludgeoning damage or crushing damage in this game is it doesn't matter if you hit or not. Now, I hit Grym that time. He took piercing damage because the pike is piercing damage. So that's nice. It added in my Tavern Brawler. It added in my strength modifier twice. All the stuff it's supposed to do. Cut it in half because of his resistance. Got acid damage. He's resistant. But let's see what happens if I miss. Okay, so I hit him again. And now I got rid of his temporary hit points, and you saw the adamantine reverberation proc. Okay, so it was bad. But again, another 32 bludgeoning damage. And now here, I have my Enraged Throw bonus action available to me. So, look at all of that. That was 50 per hit, and I had 3 hits. So that's 150 of his hit points knocked away. Now he's prone. I'm actually going to move back a little bit here.
Close ranks.
This is why. So, magma Mephits have spawned. Okay. Now, they're marked as enemies. But not so much. Okay, so I'm going to move Karlach back here quite a ways. I'm not going to go attack Grym now. I'm going to lose my frenzy. That's perfectly fine. They're attacking Grym. And Grym is attacking them. So I don't really have an idea as to why this happens, but it does. Now the magma Mephits are actually dangerous. And that's because they can cast heat metal from all the way down there. Now heat metal against anybody holding a metal weapon or metal armor does fire damage. Not worried about fire damage from Karlach. That's not the problem. She's resistant to it anyway as a tiefling. The problem is that it can make you drop your weapon. The issue with that is that if you're standing right up there on the ledge, sometimes that weapon will try and drop and it can't drop it because the pike is a big weapon when it's laying on the ground. It can't drop it because of space requirements, so it drops it down here. Then you can't get your returning pike back. Now I get people that have asked me this a couple of times, what happens if you forget and that happens? You don't have to throw your returning pike. You can throw anything at Grym. So you can throw javelins, daggers, short swords. That's why I say don't clear out your inventory. You can throw torches. Don't throw items either that are shields and armor or weapons. Don't try and throw like a skull or a piece of rope or something like that. But your inventory should be full of trash right now. And you don't need all that many because you don't even have to hit. Everything that you throw down there is going to fall in the lava, but it's still going to damage him for those 30 hit points every single time. So if your returning pike does get dropped and it drops it down there, Don't despair, just pull out all of your trash that you've been saving up here before you go into this fight and chuck that down at him, and it works just as well. Okay, so I'm moving Karlach up here just to stay away from the Mephits. Once the Mephits are dead, then I'll go back to attacking Grym again. So he's got the reverberation. If they ever manage to get rid of his hit points, his temporary hit points, which they won't be able to, I don't think. But if they do, he would kill them all with that reverberation outburst. The most dangerous things in this fight are actually the Mephits. That's crazy to think. When I have a 450 hit point adamantine golem down here wreaking havoc on the world, that the most dangerous things to me in this are the Mephits. Okay, and now I'm going to move back down here. And go back to work. And see, I missed. I didn't hit him. Okay, but I hit him for 34 crushing damage. That's the thing about this. You don't have to hit with items that you throw from height. If you're at the same level as them, then you have to hit to do any damage. But if you are throwing it from height, even if you miss, you will always do the crushing damage. I don't know if this is a bug or not. I haven't really ever played with crushing damage in all of my years of playing tabletop. I've never actually had it used in a campaign, but it doesn't seem like it should be that way, but it is. The other 21 that you're seeing is because I'm hitting a dead magma mephit, so don't think I'm doing 50 damage on each one of those. There's a mephit body down there which I'm hitting, and I think this is probably where the whole crushing damage thing comes from. The pike, you can see it in my hand, it's a long weapon. It has a large hitbox. So I think what the game is doing is, even if I miss the attack roll, the hitbox for the weapon physically overlays Grym's hitbox. So that's what, and it does crushing damage on anything that the hitbox overlaps. And that makes kind of sense, where if you're above somebody and you throw a box at them, maybe you don't actually hit them flush in the body like you were trying to, but the box is big enough that even though you might have missed them, you still hit their leg or something and cause damage. So maybe that's what the game is physically trying to do from a coding perspective. Just not entirely sure. Like I say, crushing damage in tabletop works that way. And now I've got 3 throws every time, and I should kill him this time. Okay, I rolled a critical miss on and I missed that time too. I'm just missing on all of these, so I'll have to wait till next turn. Yeah, see, that one was a hit. If I'd have been hitting, I'd have killed him, but I missed twice. There you go. This is how we do
I've got
it.
this. Out of sight.
It's not easy being cheesy.
Time to press ahead.
So now, to get down here, really simple.
Well, hello.
I still have Misty Step on Astarion, and I can Misty Step down here.
Yes, please.
And my friends are like, sometimes I forget that some of my friends are younger than I am. This is how we do it is from a song from back in the 1980s. You can go look it up. And It's Not Easy Being Cheesy is from a commercial for Cheetos. That's Chester the Cheetah. So, like I say, my friends are asking me questions in the background, so I might as well explain it to everybody. So now we need to craft what we have in here, and to do that, you need to bring out the lava. Do not be standing anywhere you want to be standing inside the gold outlines. That's the key here on this ring. Anywhere inside the gold outlines, you're going to be fine. The lava's going to come out. Once it's fully out, hit the forge lever. This is going to open up. Now we just have to wait for the lava to go away. And we can pick up our adamantine splint armor. We're going to eject the mold. Put another mold back in. Okay. Now the question really becomes whether I want the shield or whether I want the scale mail. And I wasn't even thinking about this beforehand, so let me go look this up real quick. So the adamantine scale mail does have disadvantage on stealth checks, but the attackers can't land critical hits. All incoming damage is reduced by 1, and when a melee attack hits you, the attacker is sent reeling. My bard is going to have a really high armor class, so getting hit isn't going to be a thing I'm going to be relying on. The adamantine shield, however, when a melee attack misses you, the attacker is sent reeling. So instead of them hitting me like the scale mail, when they miss me, they're sent reeling. It also gives me the standard shield bash, and attackers can't land critical hits. So it's giving me all the same benefits as the adamantine scale mail. It's just now it's on miss instead of on hit. Reeling is actually nice because the target has a -1 penalty to their attack rolls for every turn of reeling remaining on them. So if it starts out with 2, their next turn they're going to have a -2 to hit. If they miss me again, it's going to go up to -3. Okay, and that's how that works. So you can keep stacking on the same enemy turn after turn. So I'm going to actually use not the scale mail. I'm going to use the shield mold here. I'm going to put my second piece of mithril in here. Stand over here, trigger the lava. Wait for it. Be sure to wait for it. hit the forge lever. And we got our second successful craft. Okay, we can eject the mold. I had always held on to all the molds just because I was never sure during early access if there was going to be another way to get more mithril ore. And then after the full version came out, I was like, well, maybe there's going to be a DLC or something where maybe I could do it, but now we know that's not going to be the case. So you don't have to hold on to these anymore. And then you can hit the platform control button. Yeah, you can't find any more to it. There's only those two pieces. Everybody was holding on to them, like I said, because they were hopeful that there might have been somewhere later on that you could find more, or maybe a DLC, which you could come back here. And that's why in previous versions there used to be a bug with the crafting that I actually mentioned in one of my videos that somebody threw up on a Reddit thread somewhere about how the forge could bug out on your first craft and the lava would not go away. The lava would stay there, and if it stayed there, you couldn't reset the craft and craft some more. So I went through a whole section of one of my playthroughs explaining how to avoid that bug, and it's on Reddit somewhere. Somebody commented about my video and went through the explanation of how to avoid it, because you wanted to be able to bring this forge back up so that you could come in here and then recraft things later just in case. But then we found out that that's not going to be the case, that there's no DLCs, there's no more mithril anywhere. So if it does bug out for some reason and stays down at the bottom, don't worry about it. You're not going to be able to craft anything else anyway. So I'm going to take the adamantine shield, and that's going to be a replacement here. I'm going to keep the Absolute's Warboard for those saving throw situations where I'm going to need it. Now I can kind of get rid of my fighting the lava elemental setup here. And integrating Nightwalkers go here. So we picked up a few things. So again, I already talked about the adamantine shield. When a melee attack misses you, the attacker is reeling for 2 turns, and reeling gives a -1 to their attack rolls for every turn of it remaining. They can't land critical hits on the wearer. That's really nice. That normally, you only get that normally from helmets. So getting it here on the shield is a big bonus for me. And my armor class is 21 already. I can up that to 24 with a defensive flourish. So I don't want them trying to get reeling from hitting me. I want them from getting reeling from missing me. We also picked up the adamantine splint. All incoming damage is reduced by 2, which is great. When you combine this with resistances to specific types of damage, you might not take any damage at all from certain enemies. When a melee attack hits you, the attacker is sent reeling for 3 turns. So the scale mail, the medium armor, is 2 turns. For the heavy armor, it's 3. So now they've got a minus on their next turn. They've got -3 to hit. If they miss you again, that goes up to a -5 because their 1 turn passed and it reduced by 1. So now it's up to -5 to hit. They miss again, it's now up to -7 to hit. So this really stacks up against big enemies to make your frontline tank builds very, very viable. This armor can take you through all the way to Act 3 and a good portion of the way through Act 3, depending upon what you're doing. Also, attackers can't land critical hits on the wearer. So it's an incredibly good piece of heavy armor that is also an 18 armor class, which is very, very nice right now in the early game. So I'm going to send that to Lae'zel. And we also picked up the Grym Skull Helm from Grym himself. So again, attackers can't land critical hits, which is very nice. You have resistance to fire damage, which is great. And it allows you to cast Hunter's Mark once per long rest. So that adds on additional piercing damage, and you can reapply this just like Hex and everything else using your bonus action. So I'm going to send that to Lae'zel as well. And just before we go, I'm going to send off all of the molds to camp. So it looks like I'm still encumbered just barely. Perfect.
All right. What now?
Okay, so we are completely done here in the Forge and in Grymforge. This is left over because of the map to the Harper Stash we got after we did the Harper Stash. Same thing with the Smoke Powder Reserve. We got this after or before we had talked to Philomene. So those are going to be staying there. This is the path into Act 2 from the Grymforge. And this takes us back to the Underdark. But everything else in here is done. So this gets us to a really good stopping point for the episode. You can see that we still have almost all of our action economy, and we went through 3 really big encounters there. The Mephits, the Elemental, and Grym. And we have almost all of our action economy left. So it's a little crazy. So we're going to come back next week, and we're going to finish up all the quest completions in here. The gnomes have made their way back here after a long rest.
We've had some rest.
They make their way back here to the Myconid colony, so we'll talk to them. We will finish up delivering Nere's head to Sovereign Spa, and we will finish all of that up. And then we will get ready to head out and do a couple of more things. And those couple things are, we're going to head to the tea house and take care of Auntie Ethel in honor mode. And we're going to head to the Mountain Pass and deal with the Githyanki Patrol in honor mode, and hopefully pick up a really good weapon while we're doing it. So off stream, I'm going to sell off all of these things that I have. I don't need them anymore since I didn't need to throw anything else at Grym. So off stream, I'm going to clear out my inventory. And next week when we come back, we're going to complete all these quests and head out to deal with some more legendary encounters. So on that note, as always, thank you all for being here. As I mentioned earlier, I love the interactions with all of you guys. It's always great to be reminded of the things I might have forgotten or the things that I missed. And just chatting with you guys is great. So without your support, none of this would be possible. So as always, this is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.
He was right. I should get a mask. Fuller.